Good morning. We're in Linlithgow. See, here we are. It's the intrepid duo.
It's an intrepid duo exploring Scottish market towns.
Yes, and the important thing is we can see flags up there because today is one of the Believe in Scotland. I think they're calling them local action days, but the idea is that activists come from all over the place, join in, go out, do leafletting and have a presence in the town. We're approaching the stall, as you might be able to hear. What a good idea to have somebody standing there actually talking instead of just standing looking at folk. It's quite a nice little town, Linlithgow. How about we look down the high street? So a nice little square. A few well-kent faces already. Hello! Look who we found! Hi Morag!
And then believing in Scotland. Our message is to believe in Scotland. Because Scotland rocks up.
It's another well-kent face.
That's right, but there's lots of them.
That's right. When everybody said you were there. We have pulled that golden goose. And now they're after our golden goose.
Hello there, haven't seen you for a long time.
I am
You
around.
believe in Scotland in the business
Got your
of
foot?
On my arm.
Fall over?
I fell over because of my foot, and
what's
I've
that?
really
I
bad.
mentioned
This
that
has been on me since
Westminster
July
are
of
trying
last
to
year.
Oh, God.
steal the Scottish golden
Well,
goose.
really good that you're getting out here actually, especially with the
Thank
pensioners.
Caroline is driving me
Right,
because I
what I'm
can't
about
drive
to
with
tell
this
you.
wound.
Are you a driver?
The secrecy about what I am about to tell you will blow your mind.
Hello there. I usually just see you sort of on Facebook and in Zoom meetings and things, but yeah. Hello there. Hi.
What they're coming, there's going to be a big report.
Can I offer you a little bit?
And it's not anyone that's going to walk into an
There's a bit of that going on, I'm afraid. Yes. Some folk are happy to take the leaflet and others look as though they're chewing a wasp when they... No, I didn't manage the Perth one, but I saw the photos.
Yeah, they were good.
And
Yeah.
so I made it up here on the bus from Edinburgh, just in time for the 10:30 gathering. There was a huge crowd of us earlier, so...
Oh, that's great.
Oh, yeah, so everybody else, we're kind of manning the stalls.
Yeah.
Giving out leaflets as people go past. But they're all out door dropping Believe in Scotland leaflets.
It's really well organised. So well organised.
It's brilliant,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is.
Yeah. So the plan is for everybody to meet back here and then we'll have a big team photo.
So how about yourself? You optimistic?
Optimistic in terms of getting independence.
Aye.
Let's look at it this way. Whatever happens, demography will win.
Yeah, that's right.
Because 10 years ago, the under 30s were very much in favour of independence, and the under 40s were maybe a little, and now it's under 50s are very much in favour, and 50 to 60, about 50%, and then, sadly the over 60s are, but then you see that's a problem that's mending itself.
Yes.
And as people get older, they're not becoming more conservative, they're not becoming more unionist as they get older.
Yeah, that's right.
And I mean, I'll be 70 soon, and I know that the first 5-10 years of an independent Scotland will be quite hard financially.
It'll be
But
hard.
I'm doing this for my millennial children. basically.
Yeah.
And the Yes for EU thing is important to me as well.
The support for EU, that's just keeping going
it's
up
fantastic.
as well,
Yes,
actually.
absolutely.
So that all helps, doesn't it?
And I have two sons. One lives in the Netherlands with his Dutch partner, and the other one lives in Glasgow with his Italian girlfriend. So it's how forward and progressive and outward looking we are, and being held back by this union with Westminster is just I can't think of a polite word actually. is terrible.
It is,
just say it's terrible.
It's sort of almost exhausting now. It's so
Yeah.
bad, actually.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
to be honest, voted Labour for a long time, but this Labour Party,
It's terrible.
Hardly worth it.
She's trouble.
She's
big
trouble.
Big trouble in Little Linlithgow.
Well. I was just about to describe what's happening in Perth in a couple of weeks' time.
Oh,
the Creating Scotland.
yes.
Yeah.
Which I come up with. I come
Well,
up with the name.
Yes, very
Creating
good.
Scotland. I come up
done
with the name.
you. Yeah. So
You're a
when you
founding member then.
Well, I'm part of.
organising.
Believe in Scotland's got a Creatives for Independence group, and I'm part of that because
Yeah.
I'm maybe quite creative in some ways. So
Yeah. And
her there, especially.
Aye, that
I
was a
did,
good one.
yes.
You did that. I know you did that. Yeah.
it's so important because if you look at anyone involved in creative industries, they're sort of over 90% in favour of independence. And
we just need to get it going again. I mean,
Absolutely,
you know, it's that
yes,
sort of
yes,
actual level of activity.
Yeah.
Whether you're someone who's actually taking part or whether you just appreciate, what you hear.
Yeah.
That's played a big part in other countries
Yes,
becoming
absolutely.
independent.
I think the non-party political aspect of it is extremely important because I'm very much involved in SNP campaigning. I'm campaigning for my local MP, Deirdre Brock, because I genuinely believe that she should be in Westminster. But that's a somewhat different aspect to campaigning for independence because you don't need to be an SNP supporter to want independence. It helps, but you don't have to be. There are plenty of Labour voters, who want independence, and sadly maybe don't quite realise that they won't get it by voting Labour.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens in this general election because I
yes.
suspect it's maybe not going to be as good a result for them in Scotland as they would like and have been hyping
Labour,
up.
you mean?
Labour.
I think probably not. And
I'm sure they'll get seats.
of course they will.
They'll get seats, and
Yes.
the Tories will lose seats. But we'll see how it goes. I think actually people have been beginning now to kind of see what is done and actually more to the point what's not done in Westminster by Labour.
Yeah.
And I must say, Stephen Flynn he's a star. He's a star.
Yes,
He's an absolute star.
absolutely. The Labour Party, of course. I mean, there's no such thing as Scottish Labour. It's an optional identity mark, isn't it? But the Westminster Labour Party have really shown their true colours in terms of their stance on Gaza, which has not gone down a bundle here. I think that many Scots, particularly Scots who want Scotland to be an independent country, see the Palestinians being, kettled into this tiny space and basically bombed to death. And, that could be us.
I know. And we sort of go, no, they wouldn't do that.
No.
And probably they wouldn't. But you're right, it has a
Send in
kind of
the
emotional hit, doesn't it?
Oh yes, absolutely. And
I mean,
think
there's
that,
5 million of us. Can't remember how many Palestinians there are, but it's
in Gaza, 2.2 originally. Not so many
like
now.
half of
obviously.
Scotland being.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how many in the West Bank. The West Bank are suffering as well. because we've been the underdogs for 300 plus years, I think, there's a natural feeling of empathy for underdogs, and particularly a nation as a whole that are being bullied. Now, Keir Starmer's done himself absolutely no favours by being so mealy-mouthed about Gaza, and the to-do in Westminster, not last week, the week before, with the Speaker, and was just shocking. Trying to portray it as the SNP party politicking. Excuse me,
exactly. I watched it for most of it as it kind of unravelled that day, and a bit of me is like completely kind of, oh, that's dreadful. The other bit of me is going, just hold on, because the more they do things like that, the more votes, the more people decide that we'll go for independence. So in the long run, you kind of, there's a bit of a win out of it, although not a very good one. Something a bit. Yeah. Do you get much response from folk?
I'm not sure exactly what the demographic of Linlithgow is, but it's a prosperous town.
Very traditional wee Scottish market town, isn't it?
I just wonder how there's an awful lot of kind of lawyer sort of classes. There's lawyers for independence as well, mate. But there's this kind of upper class people from Edinburgh, and they moved to places like this. So it does tend to be quite a unionist sort of town. But these are people that they don't read the truth. So they're not looking at the information we've got in the stall here. They're not looking at the actual nuts and bolts of economy, which tell its own story of why Scotland is so prosperous.
Well, that's what's so good about the Believe in Scotland material, isn't it? Because it just really meets that head on and says, have a read of this.
You'll never touch the bottom of that bucket. But if you don't want that depth of detail, it's also very good to skim as well. It's all packaged up in very, very meaningful and easily accessible chunks. So Believe in Scotland, get on the website.
We're recording for Scottish Independence Podcast. What's your name?
My name's Derek Kerr. And the independence movement being like a fluid, and what happens is it eats away and it dissolves the hard core of this the lies that the unionists hold on to.
That's a really good way. That's a really good way of putting it. And you say it a little bit, don't you? When a London-based political party goes on about Scotland's the highest income tax in the UK, and then someone who in Scotland, who's paying that higher rate goes, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that if that helps other folk get on a bit better, or plus, I'm not having to pay, university fees for my kids and all the rest of it. I don't have to worry about my parents as getting older, and that kind of thing actually also kind of like it, just as you say, it dissolves barriers that unionists, or at least English unionists, kind of take for granted. That's a good argument. Oh, you're paying too much tax, and we're going, well no, it's got a good use,
Right now, on average, the Scots get more out of the system than they put in. And the people that aren't getting quite as much out than they put in, they've got the best insurance policy money can buy. Because if they fall in hard times, it's there. And believe me, paradigm shift. It is so easy to fall out your tree and splat on the ground. And right now, if you splat on the ground, you still get your teeth fixed in Scotland. You won't get your teeth fixed in England.
Yeah, it's true enough.
If you're trundling along, things are doing good, and all of a sudden the business that you worked for goes bust. And your wife's just pregnant. Your child will be clothed by what Scotland provides.
And you'll have an extra 25 quid a week for that kid that you wouldn't get elsewhere because of the Scottish child payment.
We pay for it, but we have a better contract with the Scottish Parliament. It's a bit of a talking shop, but I tell you what, with little powers they have, my God, they do a lot with it. And they don't get enough respect for what they do. they get kicked and all the rest of it. A lot of for what they can't do.
Yeah.
And then some of what they could have done better.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone can do stuff better.
Yeah,
And take a good look at what they do.
Yeah.
Because what they do
It's
is
bloody
they
good.
survive.
It is good. It's not
pretty
good.
damn
Yeah,
good.
good. Thanks very much for speaking to
very
us.
welcome.
Yeah, great. Hello.
Hiya, Scottish Independence Podcasts. Just getting some footage.
Oh, right, very good.
Are you having a good day?
Yes, I mean, the interaction's been good, I think, you know.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
Cars tooting their horns and...
Oh, that's good. That's always good. We're saying it's a good spot. You can be seen from more or less when you get off the train, which is pretty good.
Well, the leafletters are out and they're doing their...
Yes, absolutely. And when are they due back? Is it 1:15?
About that,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll catch you later then.
Good.
See you in a bit.
See ya.
Bye. Would you want to go and say hello to him? And
That's
oh, they're off. Oh, that's another MP. That's Martyn Day. Hello.
Double trouble.
We're here again.
Good for you. You
Yeah.
must be getting about a bit, right?
We do get out a bit, yeah. So just, well, it's nice if people are putting the effort in to turn up.
Yeah,
But at least if they get a bit of a picture and a bit of footage of it, then
Oh,
why not?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
My goodness, it was hard.
Was it?
Yeah, because the streets didn't have any names on them. Well, some did,
Oh,
but
right.
some didn't, you know, so...
So were you just given a route and pointed
yeah,
in a direction?
Up and down, up
Yeah.
and down. Yeah, it was good.
Did you get any responses? So what kind of...
There was just a few people out watering and washing the cars and that kind of thing, you know. They just took the leaflets, said thank you.
Oh, well, that's all you can hope for, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's nice to have a wee chat as well.
Yeah, you said don't fold them up and throw them back at you. I've had that before.
No, it's good.
It has been known, yeah.
To me a couple of times.
I've had somebody running down the path after me going, take that with you. You could have put it in the recycling bin.
I wish I had someone going past me who went, traitor.
Yeah, and somebody just going like this in front of your face.
Yes, I
you
know.
But yeah, that's their opinion.
What we don't know is right now whether we fall foul of Govey's definition of extremists. Because we're
Because
challenging.
we want to dismantle the British
challenging
state.
the
Is that,
British
is
state.
that not just hot air?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. And I mean,
It's going to go nowhere.
The people who best fit his definition are all in the Tory party.
For reform.
Reform, yeah. I wondered if it was a kind of trying to keep reform in check.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you know, you sort of think, where does all that kind of stuff come from? It's like conjured up out of, well, maybe not completely thin air, because, you know, I'm sure there are some extremists, but to make such a big deal of it like that,
Yeah.
just kind of, in a way, gives more kind of energy to the whole thing,
But
more momentum.
The thing is, we're all talking about that instead of talking about their stance on Gaza, their mishandling of the economy,
that's true.
all the rest of the stuff.
Well, maybe
So
that's all it is. Look, there's a squirrel. Yeah, both of you looked.
yeah, no, we did.
Cheeky. You know, I think it's xenophobia. Anything that's different, you know.
Yeah.
And these Muslims and you know all these bad people that they fear, you know.
Yeah. The people who are simultaneously taking their benefits and taking their jobs.
Yeah, and their
that's pretty
houses
good going,
and
their
everything,
houses.
you know.
Whilst the people who are really taking the money out of everybody's pockets are the ones who've got offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands, not people arriving on boats.
What was that, Jim Ratcliffe? You know, the owner Ineos just getting, what was it, 600 million from the government to start up in Belgium.
In Belgium.
What about all the alleged debts that his company's got here that means they've got to close it down?
And how many millions did he get to actually start that up earlier, you know? I seem to remember that they got a whole load of money.
Yeah. Keep it going. And there was that point where he threatened to shut it for a fortnight and then was given some inducement to open it back up again because it was such a big local employer and they...
Of course, we look for a single reason for why things are the way they are, and usually there's loads of reasons. So it is pretty hard to say, it's this or that. But,
it's true. It's
but
true.
the first past the post at Westminster, is
Well, it just doesn't help.
polarising everything, it's either this or that.
Well, and you end up with an election being decided by a handful of a percent of people, and they're the ones that are prepared to shift their vote from something like Tory to something like Labour. I hear that and I go, how can you do that? But they're the ones who decide the election.
And what about all the other votes? If somebody get in first past the post with 30% of the vote, they represent, and the 70%, are just lost.
And then you look at the position of Scotland, and more so Wales actually, that even with if absolutely every vote was for one party, the best our lot can do is third. They cannot be any higher up the pecking order than that because of the numbers that we've got. So there's no way that Westminster can ever work for us.
Nice to chat.
Nice to chat to you. I recognise your face, but I can't think where it's from.
I was
at the workshop.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
See, I know the face, but I can't remember your name. What was it?
Peter Glasgow.
Peter.
I followed it up with an article in the National.
I'll see if I can find the article.
You never see you two without your I think they're both retiring this year. Scottish Independence podcasts.
Can we do a wee chat? So we know it's yourself, Mark. We put our podcast and videocast onto Independence Live, and you've been doing that link up with
John
MacLeod. That's right.
We only do a Monday night if we know we're in. We're trying not to be there very much for the back and forth, but we're still there too often.
So what do you think about this kind of day?
I think it's really good, and it encourages a lot more folk to get involved. I mean, I'm an old-fashioned door knocker, right? I go in a bang door and I want to conversation, but to get to that stage, people got to start somewhere. And they can come round to me if they want to do that and say how they do it, but I think just getting folk together, doing some low-level stuff, putting out leaflets, they get a team feel, they get a bit of buzz, and then they're confident with the vote. So you don't get folk to sit there and say, suddenly, I think independence is the right thing. All right, I'll go and chat doors and convince folk. They've got a few stages between.
It's not an easy thing to start to do that, isn't it? Because you don't know what you're going to get.
You know what you're going to get. I started in the bad days when we used to give folk pasted up canvas sheets and send us out on our own to streets.
That was cruel.
That was cruel, wasn't it? And then we didn't worry. As that person came back, we used to say, they've not handed back their canvas sheets. We never thought, are they all right? Did they have a good time? We wouldn't do that now. We do it a bit more, collaborative, a bit more fun. There's a team feeling.
I was in a meeting with Stephen Flynn was giving a wee talk to actually, and I just thought that's the kind of guy who just likes going out and chatting doors. That's what he wants to do. The message was, look, if you want to persuade someone, you have to have a conversation. You go and have a conversation with them. And
a lot of the political opponents of all shades, colours and shapes and sizes would like to think that we've gone away and the independence movement is finished and isn't happening, and it couldn't be further from the truth. Now, as a movement, we're maybe a bit more fragmented than we were 10 years ago, but the movement's there. Independence vote is at record levels. We're up to 50% mark now, and we just have to get over the last few hurdles, and that means events like this where wide parts of the movement come together to show folk, hey, we're alive, we're working together, and we're going to do it. We are going to do it, it's just a question of time.
So are you standing again for that?
You're going
again? Very good on you.
I'm a glutton for punishment. I've signed up for the duration, I say,
Is that the duration until we get there?
I'm hoping that duration isn't that much longer.
So are we. We're too old for it. Are you sort of based on nothing much, I'll say, but I kind of suspect that Labour are not going to do as well in Scotland as they say.
I think the polls show that Labour have caught a bit of us in the polls. They're still just ahead. But what's probably not apparent from the polls is the level of indecision. And there's a lot of effort that are undecided at the moment. So we've got huge potential to pull that back on board. We've got a good campaign, and we should be coming on with a good number of seats. We need to come back with a majority of seats, so we've got that mandate to say that's a mandate for independence. What are you going to do? And there's only two things you can do, or there's just three things you could ignore it, it would just be red rag the whole amount. But probably they either concede the power to the Scottish Parliament to have a referendum, or they agree a date with us. If they don't do either of those things, then we know what it is. It's game 2 years down the line.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no stopping through. There's every democratic card on the table.
Because there was a fair bit of talk, wasn't there, about making this election.
There was.
A de facto. Well, I think Nicola started off talking about
I wouldn't
that.
have used the word de facto because the public don't understand what that is, but in principle, asking for the mandate for it, I was up for that. I was one of the minority, I think, I was up for that. I think in the Scottish was
I think mandate's a difficult word though, because mandate just triggers people to go, how many is it now, mandates you've had? Whereas it's sort of the legitimacy to do it, you know.
But I think, public in the next government, that can be a proper, we've got a proper...
Well, we'll either have secured a referendum by then, or we know that is the only game in town, and it's majority votes, majority seats, and it's declaration.
Are you someone who's for walking out of Westminster at a certain point? See, when they say on your mind.
If we return the majority of seats with a mandate for independence and they completely ignore that mandate, clearly we have to use the Scottish Parliament election democratic route as the only way, and then you're left saying, well, what's the point staying there? So there is a time and a place for it. It is not now.
Not yet.
The time is to work with people, get the best deal we can for folk, and make sure the Scottish conscience is heard. But if we were to be completely ignored, you'd be left with almost no choice. But I mean, you would hope that Democrats win out and that there is a consensus that when you have a mandate for something, you get what you vote for. And we've got to work within that confines.
Absolutely. But there has to be a consequence ultimately, doesn't it, if they refuse?
There's things we could do with being a bit more disruptive if we want to, but we don't want to be just throwing the toys at the pram. We want results, and it is about results, so.
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much for talking to us, and good luck with the campaign when it happens. Looks like it'll be November, but
well, it could be any time. They could theoretically, this is theoretical, would be if they were to announce the election on the 25th of March and dissolve Parliament on the 26th of March, they could have it on the 2nd of May. So that's the very last possible time with no wash up or anything in between. I think that's unlikely. He said he's not doing it on the 2nd of May. On this occasion, I believe him. But when? It could be the month after, it could be 5 months after, it could, we're just into a rolling feast. And whenever it is, it's not going to be good for him.
No, it certainly isn't.
We, though, have to make sure we use the time we've been given and make sure it's as best as it possibly can be for the independence movement.
Yeah, exactly. Probably a wee bit of time wouldn't do us any harm.
I don't think it would.
More time than me.
And it gives time for Labour to keep making mistakes. It's like they're trying to lose.
I have a simple, optimistic view of it, and the more people I can speak to, the more people my team can speak to, the more votes we'll win over. So the longer we get at it, the better it is in the long run.
Here. Thanks very much.
More power to you.
He's there. He was out leafletting. So I said, we just came and did Fox. He went, that was sensible. I've got well over my 10,000 steps and I'm knackered. So it was a quick, we peep out, because the guys are coming back, the guys who've been leafleting for Believe in Scotland, they're arriving back at the square there and gathering to get a photograph done.
So we've nipped into a cafe to grab. It was breakfast even. I thought it would be something quick.
But it's good. I think these sort of action days are good, and they, it's the usual. I mean, some folk go by, they're not interested, and other folk go to the horn as they're kind of as they go by. But it was good to chat to the folk who were there. Some good appreciated a couple of really good, nice conversations with one person I know from Edinburgh, pensioners for Indy. But it was good. Worthwhile coming.
Good. And visibility is, even if people aren't speaking, they're seeing. Good stuff.
Because the one thing you never see is a unionist day of action.
Oh, that's funny, that, isn't it?
I know. Yeah.